Thank you for joining us on the Red Panda Party. Today we have Alex Strang with us today. How is ZenkaiCon going for you so far?
It's going for me absolutely stunningly well. It's one of my favorite, perhaps favorite cons ever. And I've done a lot of cons of different types.
So the beauty of ZenkaiCon, as I'm learning, is it's very open and relaxing.
So far, yeah, I mean, I kind of knew that going in, but it's definitely an experience all the way around, and which is very positive.
So with your experience with ZenkaiCon and your experience with game design and getting people to interact, what do you think are the tips for how to meet people at ZenkaiCon and how to make a connection at ZenkaiCon?
The tips on for the average attendee
Yes.
on how to meet and interact with people. Wow, that's a great one. Luckily, ZenkaiCon has been very good and seems to be getting even better with events that are interactive. I'm a big supporter, of course, being a game designer or whatnot, and but interactivity is what I love the most, and I think you get the most value out of that. And I noticed a lot of the events are very interactive, and I think that might be a trend going forward. I don't know. I will certainly do my best to push for that. But I would say if you're an attendee, just try to go to as many interactive type events as possible. Things where you're going to meet and talk to people, whether it's a social function or a game or some kind of Q&A that's really dynamic. You know, you can really talk to a lot of people while you're here. Meet a lot of new faces. So, and just go to as much as you can that involves interactivity, where you get to do something.
And the ZenkaiCon tabletop room is actually very nice area.
Yes, he's done a great job with the kind of open gaming. I mean, it's built up a lot, and seems very popular, which doesn't surprise me, and it was very exciting. And also, I've had some timed events there, and I've seen other game designers bring stuff that they're working on and having timed events, and of course some tournaments, things like that. So that's building up. I don't know what their plans are, but it does seem like that could keep growing, and very well.
And you had a very special event at ZenkaiCon, the worldwide tournament for Mr. Buckethead, correct?
Oh, one of the things I did was Mr. Buckethead. I have a series of books called the Mr. Buckethead Adventure Game Series, which are like comic books or manga that are interactive, a little bit like a choose your own adventure style fiction. You play by yourself, but I also have in every book a fight game you can play with multiple players. So we were playing that, and you get to pick your own character. They're very silly characters, and you duke it out, and it can be any number of people. And so that's a lot of fun. Very easy for anyone to pick up and play, just like that. So we did a little tournament for that. That was cute. And
Do we have a world champion?
there were prizes. I'm pretty liberal about giving out prizes, so I think everyone walked around with a bunch of prizes. Everyone's a winner, pretty much. There was one winner, but everyone won pretty well.
So one major winner, but everyone
Many
else.
rounds. Let's put it that way.
So when it comes to game design, do you focus on having a mechanic, a solid mechanic, or do you focus on, I want this to be the major interactions that players have, and then you try to build a mechanic off of that?
That's an awesome question. Even like in game design world, you don't get to hear that enough. That's really good. A lot of times people talk in terms of game mechanics versus theme. Like those are the two only things, which is of course not true. There's a lot more. But you really brought up, I think the most important part is the interactive dynamics you really want. And I come from a background, among other things, where I have taught and led and designed a lot of team building activities, like for large groups, like corporate groups or whatever. And really, it's what they call experiential team building, which is basically what you're really designing from is the experience you want people to have. It's not about mechanics. It's not about the theme or anything. It's more about what do you want them to go through? What experience do you want them to have during that time? What do you want them to walk away with? What feeling? It really comes from there. So when it comes to game design, a lot of times my ideas are coming from that. Like, it could be anything. It could be like I had this one game, Attack on Easter Island, and the reason I came up with it is I just like the idea of a fast flying thing. I like the idea of flying around real fast, zapping things, and I like Easter Island. I think the statues are cool. So what if you flew around zapping Easter Island statues? I thought it would feel really good, like a frenetic kind of fun thing. And I also like patterns. I like playing with patterns, so I incorporate that into the game. I wanted people to feel like they're playing inside a puzzle, but also fast-paced. A fast-paced puzzle they're trying to solve. So it's a feeling, like an experience, and I built from there. So the mechanics kind of evolved out of that. The theme developed from there. That's the way I approach things, as an experience first.
When you're coming up with these ideas, do you ever get devious and say, "I want friends turning on each other, so let's work off of that"?
That happens. I'm not necessarily thinking that way. I am still thinking about the experience, so that could be part of the experience. I want people to really challenge each other. Yeah, but I have to admit, a lot of my games, I do a lot of co-op and cooperative games too. But a lot of my games are actually about not necessarily teaching a principle, but more, I'd say, inspiring a new way to think. I've taught a lot of classes and workshops on gamification and game theory and brainstorming techniques. So I like to come up with things that actually are designed to get your brain working in a different way than you're used to. It can't always be so successful, but I really try. Like with that game I just mentioned with the patterns, it really forces you to just do some strange things with your brain and to look at things in a weird way you probably don't normally do. And I like that kind of thing. I like things that kind of really engage. I always ask when I'm play testing a game, I ask the players, what is this doing to your brain right now? How is it? Does it hurt? Sometimes it hurts, but in a good way. Like they're really challenging themselves, and that's what I look forward to. If I can make that happen, I'm happy.
Right. Now, when it comes to conventions and anime conventions, do you have a anime horror con story?
A horror con story?
Yeah.
I tend to be pretty positive, and I have to admit, first up, basically I've been a lot of like game conventions specifically, and things go wrong at conventions. They always do. Stuff happens, especially at game conventions. But any convention, especially when it grows and gets bigger, all kinds of crazy stuff can happen. Disorganization. Zenkai Con's awesome on this, by the way. I haven't seen any major dilemmas, unless they're hiding it really well. But the thing I always tell people, because I'd be at conventions like as a demoer, or a vendor, or whatever, leading an event, and people would be upset things would go wrong. I say, wait, why are you upset? You're at a game convention. Like in the whole world of all the places you could be, you're at a place that's nothing but fun. It's designed for fun. It's not that bad. Believe me. If something goes wrong, you're at a game convention. So I don't have a lot of horror stories because most of it to me is just small stuff. Like life is much worse than this. Game convention or anime convention is the good stuff. So it never gets that bad to me. I mean, I've had things like probably a lot of publishers had where I shipped things to I went to a convention in Texas years ago, and I shipped all my products because I couldn't carry it on the airplane, and it never arrived. So I'm there for 3 or 4 days with nothing to sell or show or anything. But that was bad. But I found a way of making it work. I did something. So I don't really have horror stories because I think none of them are that bad. Plus, if something does happen, if you think on your feet, you can make it work.
So what do you have to say to your ZenkaiCon fans?
Oh, okay. Well, for the two that are out there, I hope you're having an awesome time at this ZenkaiCon, and seriously put it on your schedule for each future one, whether they do it one time a year or more often. But constantly keep your eye on for it. Bookmark the page. Get involved in the group. It doesn't have to be just a once-a-year thing either. It's an event, of course. But, all year long, throughout the whole year, just get involved. Get involved in community organizations, social groups that are interested in your fandom. Stay linked with ZenkaiCon any way you can, for updates. But also, look for ways you can get involved, seriously. Because if you invest yourself, like you do something, you bring something to the convention, somehow, then you're going to get even more out of it. If you can run an event or be on a panel or come up with an idea to contribute to ZenkaiCon, go for it. This is like a wide open opportunity.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us on Red Panda Party with our amazing guest Alex.
And you guys are pretty amazing too.
Thank you. And the best lesson that he gave: obstacles are meant to challenge your brain. There's always a way around them, and just focus and try to overcome it, because you come out with a good experience, or at least a lesson learned.
And you're not an island. You live on a planet surrounded by billions of people. We can all work together. So you don't have to solve everything on your own. It's okay to ask for help and brainstorm with other people. I say do it. Don't have to suffer on your own. Suffer with everyone else. It's totally worth it.
All right. Thank you very much. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.